Hello and welcome to my art channel. Today, for those of you passionate about Renaissance art and why a painting looks like this, I will tell you there is a science about it, and I will go in depth if you ever wondered why this painting looks like this. So let's begin. First of all, as you can see, it is a work by a Renaissance artist. What the artist uses is clarobscur. You think it might be, let me show you the science of it. First of all, it is a lot on color theory. As you can see, he used blue, a small hint of blue, next to the and next green and red, because they are opposite colors. They are very the idea is to create sharpness in a drawing. Let me show you a small drawing in detail. What it basically means is he goes center with a sharp contrast. It is a lot about color theory. He uses blue on a side, a small hint of blue, that flower, as you can see on the painting, and he uses it next to red because they are opposite complementary colors. Also, he uses in the center white. It is a very nuanced and theoretical drawing painting. Actually, he uses white in the center to simulate light, intensity, and he uses green on the sides because green is a more center like color, is a more center color in the spectrum, and he uses blue on the side to give an artistical effect. Basically, why he uses red next to blue is to create a sharp contrast, which obviously this painting is a uses sharp light contrast. It is a technique called clarobscuro, and notice he uses ochre or a sort of yellow on the sides. That is a bit opposite of what I am telling you, but that is because he uses a sort of of a sort of interesting way of drawing. So you have green, you have blue on certain levels. So a middle a middle a certain middle color, blue, which is a colder color, and red on the top, which is a very hot color, a very warm color. And it is about secondary colors. He uses in the center olive green, on the uttermost center he uses yellow to create this interesting sort of a sort of mysterious color pattern, sort of mysterious, sort of obscure and very gothical, if you will. So you have red, green, and blue. So he uses a very sharp contrast to create this effect. This is a lot about art theory. And the secondary colors, he uses also orange. Sorry, I forgot to mention orange, green, and olive green, the secondary colors, and yellow ochre, which basically creates like a waterfall pattern, a sort of pattern. And the usage of forest green is very useful. And so it comes to the dark to the usage of black as a background. For those that are curious why the background is black, is because it brings the center of figures forward. Forward, I said. Yes, it is correct. What it basically means is that it brings the center figures on profile, sort of like if you have a shadow next to an object, you see the more bright object clearly. And you see there is a very concave effect on the pattern, like the painting is on next to some shadows, like on a dark day. So you have dark on the sides, more visually light on the sides, and the lightest is on the center. So it creates a very concave sort of glowy effect. That is the basics. And of course, it uses green on the sides because it is a center, a warmer color, more middle warm color. But he also, for you to know, he breaks that law a bit. This technique has so red and green are opposite colors, complementary. Orange and blue is a very nuanced and very contrastful colors, much contrast. And olive green is the secondary, and next to its complementary color, yellow ochre, a near complementary color. And of course there would be grids all over the painting. It is a sort of anatomical painting, a sort of nature, the capturing of nature, because if you know, in nature um rarely you do not see a sharp contrast. And on the sides that you can notice on the rows, there is the sharpest contrast, black and red, sort of scarlet. This is to create again a very concave effect. It brings the painting forward. That is the process. It creates sharpness so it can create depth. That is the idea. And it uses blue to create a naturalistic effect. It is a naturalistic technique. And of course the black is to bring everything forward. It is a very interesting light effect, but it is still grounded in theory on perspective and shadows, and so it is about complementary colors, primary colors, a naturalistic effect. You can study that if you want. And of course, perspective. What I want to show you also is that he continues like it is a technique called dissipating the colors, bringing everything more balanced on every part of the drawing. So bringing the primary colors even on the side. for a more artistical effect. So it is about order and perspective. How is this about perspective, you must ask? Well, I tell you, it is not random, the color pattern, although as you can see on the leaves, on next to the blue flower, he puts it on reverse. It is a very experimental, and so he puts it on reverse, the colors. That is because light can come from multiple directions, not just the sun. He tried to suggest that there is a window there or something. There is a window there or another light source. It is even called this technique candle lighting, sun and candle lighting. And as I said, he dissipates the colors all over. He puts reds on the side of the yellow middle to center, and he puts red near the top to give the effect, to give an interesting effect, like there is a different light source. This painting is more complex. As you can see, there is green and yellow on the sides, which is a more a more not very strict way of using perspective shadows. And as you can see, the light in the center is much brighter to create the concave. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.